Hey drivers, this is Andrew at ThirdCoastRC in Houston, and we're going to talk to you something about a little bit different today. We got something really cool in our shop here that we just put together. This is the Tamiya NSU TT. This is a little temp scale model of the NSU car. NSU is a motorcycle company in the 60s in Germany, and they started to make a car, and they made this little car. The NSU TT. NSU eventually got bought up. I think they were bought by Volkswagen and ended up in the Audi group or something like that. They're long gone, but in the late 60s they made this little car. Looks a lot like kind of like a BMW 2002, or you know, a little small sedan car that's popular in Europe. This one comes all set up to be decaled in this Jägermeister paint scheme. We did it with the orange. We did it a box orange, just the same as on the box. This is on the MO5 chassis, the Tamiya MO5 chassis. You can buy this kit with everything in it, but we put a the interesting thing about this kit is it's front wheel drive. The original car wasn't front wheel drive, it was rear wheel drive, so that's a bit ironic, but this MO5 is a front wheel drive chassis system. We didn't put anything too fancy in here. We put a basic digital servo in here, a Fly Sky radio, and we got a nickel metal hydride battery, and we did put a small brushless motor in here, just a 3300 kV brushless motor, and this little guy handles really good. Front wheel drive on an RC car is kind of cool. There's not many front wheel drive RC cars out there, so it's interesting to see that on here. It's a relatively straightforward build. This chassis takes, it might take you 2 or 3 evenings to put this together. You have to build everything from scratch, the differentials, everything like that. And we made it just like the the box art version of it. The body is really cool. I love the body. Love this old school. We painted it in the classic orange. We backed it in white, and then we did smoke on the windows, smoke tint on the windows. We got a little cool way. If you look at the videos, Google this car on YouTube, and you'll see them running it. And they used to prop the trunk or the boot lid open, just to give the engine extra cooling. So this little car runs real good, and if you like scale models that you like to build yourself, and you want to put your own components in and everything like that, Tamiya is always a good choice, especially in temp scale vehicles. There's so many out there. This kit was released, I think, in 2019. It's still available. They usually discontinue them after a couple of years, so they don't last forever. So if you're going to get one of these, I'd suggest you go out and pick one up in the near future before this one gets discontinued. And then generally they don't come back unless they're insanely popular, and then sometimes they do re-releases a decade or 2 decades later. So this little car is really awesome. I really love it. I love the looks of it. It looks great in our shop. People always comment on it. It is for sale. But by the time you've built it, painted it, and the amount of time it takes to do that, then that does push the price up a little bit. But this car's not available as a ready-to-run version. You cannot buy an expert-built version or anything like that. So if you want one, you're going to have to build it, or you're going to have to buy one from somebody who's already built it. So we'll take it for a little spin and show you how she handles. Totally stock. There's nothing apart from bearings. We put bearings throughout this vehicle. When we built it, we didn't bother with the bushings, we just put the bearings straight in there. But the shocks and everything are stock on this vehicle. What I've found when I've driven it, it's a little bit bouncy. All the weight is at the front. You can see you've got the motor here, and we got the battery, a nickel metal hydride battery in here right now. And it's all the weights at the front, so that makes the back just a little bit bouncy. You'll probably see that in the video. But if we put the aluminum shocks on there, because these shocks are just springed and they don't have fluid in them, they don't have proper dampening in them. If we put a little bit better shocks on here, I think that would calm that down a little bit. But you'll see now when we run it what I'm talking about. So I've got it turned on here, and this thing just looks awesome when it's running. I'm not going to go crazy with it because, like I say, the vehicle is for sale. So we'll just take a few low shots here before we scoot on down the parking lot. Front wheel drive, and here we go. So this is on nickel metal hydride, low brushless motor in here. So she's probably going about 25 miles an hour, I would say. If you put a LiPo in, I'm sure she'd do 30. We could change the gearing a little bit, but that's not what it's about. It's not about speed with these cars. It's about the scale, and it's about the realism, and it's about the, you know, it's just about, you know, the pleasure of driving something that is very, very unique. You know, you're just not going to see many of these about. They're not insanely popular Tamiya models. You know, there's a lot of other brands and things out there these days are much more popular than Tamiya. But if you're really into something a little bit more unusual, something that's not run-of-the-mill, then they're a great choice. So it runs good, it handles good, nimble. That's what I would say. It feels very nimble as it's running. It turns, it's got a tight turning radius. I don't want to roll it, so I'm going slow in the corners. We can see here. So she turns real tight. And you're just not going to see anything like this apart from Tamiya. Only Tamiya is going to make a car like this. There's no, maybe it's Kyosho, but there's no other manufacturer out there who makes vehicles like this. And I'm a big fan of Tamiya. I always have been for 30 years. My first car was Tamiya, and they're more popular in Europe than here in the US, but still, you can still get them here in the US, and they have a strong following. So it's a great handling little car, a perfect environment for it here on the on a parking lot here, nice and smooth. It's not going to handle much dirt, or it's not going to go off-road. It's not what it's meant to do. But it's just a lot of fun seeing this bright orange Jägermeister NSU TT. Most people probably don't even know what the heck this car is. Never heard of it. But there you go. They made a model of it. So I'm going to bring it back over here. There she is. She's only little, but true to scale. 10th scale on a cool front wheel drive chassis. Something very different. And if you're looking for something a little bit out of the ordinary, something cool just to run on a weekend, or when you're at a car meet, or when you're at, you know, coffee and cars, or perhaps you go drag racing with your high-end stuff and you want something to run around whilst it's waiting for your turn to race, that's going to get a lot of attention, this little guy could be just the ticket. So check it out. It's going to cost you in the order of about $400 to get it all done and all set up. Maybe it's a little bit less than that, $350, something like that, with high-end components. So not super expensive, but super cool. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.